Welcome back to Pin Pals, the podcast that interviews pin makers about their journey through the pin game. I am your host, Eric from Warrior Pins. That's a lot of pins. Thanks for tuning in. Quick shout out to my Buy Me a Coffee supporters, Pin My Ride and Pins by Charlie. You guys always show up and that means a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't checked out our Buy Me a Coffee page and you're interested in supporting the podcast, definitely do that. There are lots of fun ways to support and engage with the podcast. Link, as always, is in the show notes. Today's episode features the second half of my conversation with Rob from the pin shop Otherworld. If you thought the first half was good, just wait till you hear the rest. We talk about marketing with our pin brands, setting up booths for pin shows and displays and kind of geeking out over that, seeing what other pin brands are doing and how we can kind of leverage that in our own way, the pros and cons of having an Instagram account with 18,000 followers deleted, and so much more. Let's just go ahead, jump right into it. Enjoy the rest of my conversation with my pin pal, Otherworld. Two things. Do you have any specific advice for when it comes to actually producing pins? That's the first thing.
Just be patient, especially when you're doing something like that. You're setting your own deadlines. So, don't really be too stressed about not making them or things taking a little bit longer than you originally anticipated. Just kind of be more understanding. The people overseas are people too. You know, they're not robots that are just answering emails. Not only that, you're building a relationship with people, whether it be a broker, whether it be a manufacturer, wherever you're ordering anything from. You got to understand that there are people on the other end of these phones, emails, and just be patient with them. 9 times out of 10, if you are a good, nice person and not rude, disrespectful, or anything like that, they will help you solve your problem. But if you're an asshole and you treat them as such, you will get the shit that comes out of the asshole. It is what it is, man. Yeah. 9 times. Having opened the shop. So when I opened this, my intent was not, I'm doing a toy store. It became a toy store when I realized that I have a bunch of fucking toys, and some of which I didn't want to keep, some of which I've collected with the intent to sell in the future. I kind of brought them all here. I brought my pins, but I was also offering graphic design help. I was offering the custom pins. So I work with people on a customer service base every single day. I am the broker now. So I deal with the attitudes. I deal with not making a deadline, because you got to understand, your deadline isn't everybody's deadline. You're one of many deadlines to a manufacturer. They don't stop because fucking Otherworld is having a panic attack in the United States because the red is not red. They don't give and same goes for all problems. It's easy to point out the problem. It's better to point out the problem with a solution.
Yeah. Because
anybody could point out the problem, but not everybody could give a solution to it.
Right. Yeah. Well, man, I was going to ask if you had any specific advice for pin makers, but I think that advice just kind of across the board.
Everybody. Yeah. No,
everybody. Garbage men, pin makers, swimmers, water poloists. I don't know. Patience. Patience is key, and patience will get you places in life. Truly.
And I only speak from experience because I've been the impatient person. I've been the patient person. And it's a much pleasant place for the patient person.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. So let's talk about marketing. I love this portion of the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I'm into all this stuff, all these strategies. Not only do I want to shed light for our listeners, but I'm going to be honest with you, I'm also taking my own notes.
Nice, same. No, dude, and I think that if you want another tip, you should always be taking notes. And don't even be I think it's more shady when you act like you're not going to take an idea, because then that just shows ill intent. Like, I'd rather just be straight up like, hey, you're doing something good. I think I might copy that. Like, you know, like I might use that. Like, and just be straight up. Like, I think that's a lot more easier, and probably the person that you're telling is going to respect you a lot more for doing that.
Yep.
And might even give you a few more pointers, like on how to do it better. So yeah, point in case, shout out, you know, Move in Silence, right?
Yeah.
Julio. I've seen Julio. When you told me how you've seen my development, one person that I always look up to is Julio from Move in Silence, mainly because I've seen him literally from the beginning, because that's kind of when I was starting. I met him at the first Patches and Pins Expo in LA. And then shortly after that, we started vending together. But I've always admired his display, just like his work ethic, all that stuff. He's a cool dude. I really dig it. Point in case, I was just vending next to him this past weekend, and I got to like watch how he operates, you know, and I'm just like, how he has like all his marketing set up and stuff. And I'm like, dude, like, and I even told him like, bro, like, that's like, you're killing it with like the way you're structured right now. And he's just like, thanks, man. And I was like, dude, don't be surprised if I might start structuring that way. He's like, no, he's all, bro, he's like, all day. Like, why shouldn't you? Like, you know, like you should never think that somebody else is taking your clients from you. Like, I don't know if people ever feel that way. Like, they might feel as if, if I promote somebody's this, they might steal a sale from me or some bullshit. But it's never like that, dude. You're going to get the sales you're going to get. They're going to get the sales they're going to get. Your products are going to speak for you. So if you don't like what the results are giving you, then you have to do something about that. Like, you know, you change your product, change something, but don't ever think that somebody is taking something from you that you didn't get. Like, because I say all these things mainly because these are feelings that could kind of come up in somebody in this game. I've seen it a lot, you know, like, and it's just like, but it shouldn't be like that. There's enough fish out there for all of us. It's all about going into the ocean and catching them, you know, and like, we're all fishermen. We need to help each other catch these goddamn fish. Otherwise, we're all going to starve.
Well, I think you really hit the nail on the hammer with that one. We're not reinventing history just because like a new person is in the pin game. They're not going to find a new way to market pins. Like, we've all been doing essentially the same thing, but it all comes down to like us individually and the people behind the brand. I could copy the same exact marketing strategy as like a bunch of other people, but if there's no value, if I'm not like putting my heart into it and my audience can't see that, then, you know, it's like, then it's not going to work for me. What works for you might not work for me. It could work for me, but it's working for me because I tailored it for me and tailored it for my audience. So
exactly, it's like a suit.
Yeah,
like, you know, like your suit is gonna fit my body, especially if I've been eating all these meatball subs and pizzas. Like, you know, like, I'm gonna need that XL that I've been slipping into. But no, like, everybody's different, and that's fine. Always nitpick, take notes, look at what they're doing. Maybe there's a way that you could, or maybe not take the idea directly, but modify, like you said, so that it fits your style a lot better and helps you get to that point as well, or helps you get to where you want to go. There's a bunch of people that I've always admired. Geeky Kinky Kevin, he always helps me with setups and stuff like that. We've helped each other, but I like Kevin always sends me pictures of like stuff that he gets. He's like, dude, check out this. And I'm like, I geek out. I love display stuff. I love it. Like, dude, if you show me a cool way of displaying something, I geek out over it just because I'm like, wow, that looks cool. Like, it's always been something that I enjoy. I love it. I love presenting some stuff.
And you have cool displays too. Like, when we were at Patches and Pins, it was either when we were vending together or pictures that I've seen. You have like the bright pink milk crates.
Stupid rack right here.
You have the little translucent
piece of shit?
that thing right there. Yeah,
This thing
No one has that. You're the only person where I see have that color.
Retired. I retired this beast.
Oh, God
Dude.
bless.
No. And I did it for so long, and that thing helped me tremendously. Like tremendously. The hardest part about it, and the reason why I retired it, is that breaking it down. Like putting it together, breaking it down is a nightmare. And that's another tip that I would want to give to people in the pin community or whoever. Your setup always needs you, like, it can look amazing, but if you can't fucking get it there in a way that is easy, and you're like breaking your back just to try to put it up, maybe it's not worth setting up, because like you're gonna fucking kill yourself doing this shit. Every time I think about a display, I think about me carrying that bitch in there, because 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna have to carry that bitch in there. Stairs, elevators, like, like all these things there are obstacles that you might encounter getting to your destination.
Mm-hmm.
So you always want to keep that in mind. Like, you want to carry that, and I bring that up because that cube, the way it was, like how I brought it out right now, imagine that thing loaded with pins. It was a nightmare and very hard to hold. Like, even when it's put together, it looks amazing, but it was a nightmare. But luckily, I mean, I'll show you guys what I upgraded to.
Yeah, let's see it.
Check it out.
Exclusive for the YouTube listeners right here.
So I upgraded to these panels.
Okay. I like a lot.
Yeah, so I hang them off the edge of my little rack here, and it just works for me, because when I take them to shows now, they break down like a whole lot easier, but they fit in my car like 100 times better than the cube. The cube was just eating so much space, and it was so awkward to hold. There was just a bunch of cons rather than pros for it. But luckily, the same company that makes them does these panels, and these panels work a lot better. But it goes with showing that there's an evolution. Like, like you have to invest a little, and you're not going to get it. You don't always get it right the first time. Dude, I wish I had a picture of the very first display I had. It's so embarrassing. Like, dude, it was like, I have nothing, like none of the stuff that I used then, I use now, like at all. But it's funny. Like, I could still picture it in my head, and I'm just like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, those pink crates were wooden crates, and I was trying, like, oh, bro, I don't even know what the theme was, but like, it was just embarrassing. But no, like, I've come a long way from there, and every show has allowed me to figure out something to improve. Like I said, it may be my love for displaying, and like just like how things are displayed, that has allowed me to invest so much in my displays. But if you really want to get to that level, it's something that you have to do. You have to invest in displays, and it's going to pay off, because the better it looks, the more attractive it will be to your customers.
Facts. Wow. I think the original question, what I was getting at, was marketing. But we wound up all the way there. But I love it, because we were going to get into vending later. Basically, I just wanted to know how does, well, we talked about how the one size fit, like, strategies can be reused and revised for our own stuff. And I think we started talking about like displays and stuff like that and how that grew. But what I want to know, what I'm really curious about.
That was my marketing, though, because I would say that the reason why is because a lot in the beginning, it was all about Instagram. Like, before shows, before vending, it was all about Instagram. Then Instagram lost the chronological order with the algorithm, and that's when shit just kind of got all weird. But still, I was kind of like, okay, well, let's grow the Instagram. And then as the algorithm got more chaotic, I would pay, like, didn't people do the Pin Lord stuff and the patch game stuff? I did that. I did all that stuff. But I'll tell you this, having gone this second round after losing my account, I have not done any of that. and I've gained. I'm at 3,000 right now.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, like I mean, it's nowhere near 18, but dude, no bullshit. I would rather take this 3,000 over the 18
Why is that?
any day. I get more interaction with the. I get better not more, but better interaction with the 3,000 that I have now than I did with the 18K that I had fucking a year and a half ago, a year ago. Mainly because, like, dude, the algorithm, if you're not spending time on a person's profile, they're not going to show you their content.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, even when people that don't, like, when you scroll past somebody's fucking photo, and after you've done that to them like 5-6 times, Instagram's gonna realize you don't want to see that shit, and they're gonna fucking stop showing it to you. So when you think that it's okay to just kind of like scroll past somebody that you do like stuff without liking it or engaging with it, then they're gonna stop showing it to you, even if you do like it. We're not Instagram's not a mind reader; it's an action reader. So like your actions on the page is gonna determine what it shows. Having known or knowing all this bullshit, I hate Instagram. And I stopped giving it my money because it's not worth it. To me, it's not worth it. I've done the ads. They're okay. I will say what I'm currently using, which is really awesome, and I think is anybody could use it, and it's Etsy. Etsy is a great way to sell your products because when you pay for ads on Etsy, you actually get results. You get orders and you get interactions, which then help your page get better ratings, which then would attract more customers. So that right now, that's probably the only marketing that I'm doing. Oh no, I do Etsy and then email.
Nice.
But even with my email stuff, I'm only sending like an email like once every 2 weeks, maybe once a month, telling people about like new drops or like a sale I'm having, or just kind of like big stuff. But that's been helping, and that's pretty much it. I would say get some sort of email thing. Email is going to be a better thing to grab onto for vendors because that data is going to be stuff that you could utilize long term.
Yeah.
Yeah, because followers on Instagram, they delete your Instagram, you're gone. Like they're done. And then what? So the data that you get from your shops, whether it be Etsy, Shopify, Big Cartel, any of that information is going to be more valuable to somebody that's actually starting a business because that's all the information from the people that are buying from you. Like, those are the people that actually give the most shits about you. So you want their information, keep them up to date. They're going to be the people that tell their friends about you. But it's also, this is stuff that you are in control of, not Instagram, not Etsy, not Shopify. Like you could contact them directly. So that's probably about the only marketing that I do is just Etsy right now. And then word of mouth. Ever since I did the shop, a lot of my stuff is just walk-ins.
You said a lot right there.
Yeah.
First of all, quality over quantity, I will always, always, always agree with. And just to touch on that, having the 3,000 followers now versus the 18,000 before the account got deleted. Back then, I think we started around the same time. We were growing our accounts like crazy pre-algorithm change. So
everybody saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone saw it. But I
you
also
post at 3 p.m. People saw the 3 p.m. post. Yeah. Like, boom. Yeah.
And it would blow up. But I think there was also a lot more. You get more eyes on it, but I think there were a lot more bots and stuff like that kind of running rampant. That every time Instagram would kind of like crack down on the bots, not necessarily the algorithm, but I would like lose a good chunk of followers. And I remember losing a decent amount of followers. It was like under 1,000 followers, but still a significant amount. Like after the algorithm change, and they were making like some official release, like shadow banning was happening, and they were trying to get rid of bots and spammers and things like that. That I saw that big number that like I worked so hard for just drop like that. But then I found out that like the people that did stay were still engaging and liking and sending DMs. So that's when I was like, I don't really care about the number. It's nice. It's cool to gloat around and say it might look good for sponsors and partnerships, but
I just like adding the links and the swipe up thing. And that's probably the only
yeah.
thing I miss the most. So fuck that.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
something like that could be easily substituted by having or by connecting your Shopify to your Instagram.
and the number is not indicative of how successful your business is. Like,
Yeah.
couldn't be more the opposite of that. So it sucks that you lost all those followers because I'm sure a good chunk of them were actually real people, but Kobe.
Nah, dude,
R.I.P.
it's the craziest part about that. It wasn't losing the followers. It was losing, dude. I had some I had some people that I lost because of that, but like it was very eye opening. Like, dude, there was some brands. Like, dude, somebody who commented on my shit, like, oh, sucks that it happened to a bootlegger. Like, just like talking shit. And this, like, they would do that, but they didn't even follow back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, and it was just like constant, like people like that, where I'm like, oh, you've been an asshole this whole time. Like, if anything, I'm glad I lost my Instagram because it really weeded out a lot of people that I didn't need keeping tabs on me, that I didn't need like checking up on my shit just to make sure I'm just failing or whatever the fuck they want me to do. So that was probably like the best part of it. I love the people that came over because those are the people that have been those are the people that I do this for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, and the people that I've met from then till now, like same, like those are the people that want to mess with me. Those are the people that want to support Otherworld. Those are the people that like what Otherworld does. And so I'm glad to have them. Like I would not, it's almost like that 18K was fake.
Yeah, I can get that from you.
You could tell when someone has a dope ass following when their likes and their likes and their interaction
When the engagement is there.
Yeah, dude, I laugh when you see like a 1.2 million person, they got like 500 likes. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Terrible.
how? Like, yeah, like what? Like, how
I
do you
see
even
it
get
all
the
the
blue
time.
check?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
It's all those click farms and stuff like that. And man, it's good that you cleansed yourself of all those like haters and stuff like that. We come
yeah,
across them from time to time, and it's just like to stop wasting your energy. Like you're not, helping at all. You're not providing anything. Like if any, you just sound really jealous, really bitter. Like I'm sorry, did you want to do what I'm doing? Because like I'm not stopping you. Like feel free to do all that stuff. Like you said, there's plenty of room for everyone to eat at this table, and I just don't get it. Like why would you go about discouraging people and stuff like that? Like so your feed and you're probably everyone's usually better off without having to deal with any of that kind of stuff. It's just we don't need that
yeah, for
negativity.
sure, dude. Nah, you keep that shit.
Yeah. Wow. So we covered a lot with marketing just for
Yeah,
that, and I feel like I didn't even get to like any of my questions, but I'm looking at them all. It's like we've talked about all this stuff already. I love it, man. Let's move on to vending at shows. So we've talked about this, and we mentioned this earlier. We have vended at Patches and Pins Expo, and it's such a unique experience getting to connect with other individuals who not only like pins but are like really interested in all these subsets of pins and all these fandoms, in which pins are like keeping alive. What's your favorite memory? Like what's your favorite part about vending at shows, and talk to me about that.
dude, like, it's funny because when the pandemic, pretty much you don't really know what you got till it's gone. So like when the pandemic hit and I stopped doing shows, you kind of start. Oh, I mean, I started like missing all the people that I would see on the regular. Like, like you see all these people, you just chop it up. They become your friends.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are coworkers, but like, you spend a whole weekend, a day, like grinding together. So I think that that's probably my favorite part about vending. It's connecting with both the people that come support you, but also with the people that you're out there hustling with. Like, dude, these people, like, y'all in it together. Like, you know, like we're all out here trying to make a buck.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and that's another thing, dude. Don't get it twisted. Everybody's out there to make a buck. If you're out there for other reasons, that's cool. But I want to say the main reason why people do this is so they could use their skills to make a buck. And there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I say that because I've come across people that they feel as if to do that is almost selling out. And it's just like, no, fuck no. Like, dude, to profit off of your craft is a beautiful thing. Not only that, it's like, dude, you should be so lucky to be able to do that. But yeah, dude, just the relationships that you make along the way, I think is really awesome. Like, it's definitely something that you could take for granted if you don't recognize it. But yeah, these people become like a second family, like, you know, and then it's just like the people you work with, like they become a second family. But I would say
Yeah.
in this, it's a little bit deeper than that because nobody, like no boss is sending you out there to do this. Like, you're out there on your own
Yeah.
doing something for yourself, and you meet these people who are out there on their own doing this for yourself, and you guys come together on this common interest. And then, like, who knows, the stuff you're making probably also vibe together, and like you share interests that way. And it's just like, it's all these people with these common interests coming together and making an event for people with common interests. And it's all this like, it's all this stuff that brings us all together and lets us know that we're all connected.
It's
Somehow.
cool. Yeah, and facts. We're all connected. It's like a big family reunion every time Patches and Pins rolls through in New York. Whether I'm vending or I'm just attending, like it's just cool to see
Right.
everyone. And it's like, okay, let me make sure I got like pins and business cards because like everyone's gonna like want to talk and stuff like that. And I had this thought when you were talking too. It's like going to one of these like patches and pins or just a pin show in general is like tapping into your audience pre-Instagram algorithm changes. It's like those are the people you're like that's who you want to reach. All those people who are just like super interested and it like they're all right there. It's like just about everyone there is like the ideal customer and who we're trying to like fight for to get in front of like on social media. So for all these like potential customers to be right there, physically right there in front of you, like it just makes the whole experience being a pin maker, being a business owner that much better, which is really cool.
Yeah. No, definitely. Like, definitely. But I couldn't have said it any better myself. Like, yeah. I
Family
think about
reunion, love it.
dude, it's like a family reunion. It's like a company party. Like, like it's like,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I think it's crazy. There's been a couple of times where like afterward we'll go get dinner with like a bunch of makers and stuff like that. And it's cool. Like, it's a trip to me that my idea for a pin spawned all this. Like,
Yo, it
an
still
idea for a
boggles the
pin
mind.
spawned all this. Like, I'm just like, whoa.
Idea
So
for a
like,
pin
dude,
spawned this podcast and our
yeah,
friendship. Like,
yeah. Like, literally an idea for a pin brought us, like, your idea for your pin, an idea for my pin, two separate ideas that were thought of in two completely different places spawned all this.
it's wild. It's a beautiful thing, but it's
Yeah,
wild,
it
man.
is.
The odds, the chances of us even existing, let alone like meet, like it's just crazy.
Dude, it is, man. When you literally think of all the little nuances and how everything just kind of interconnects, like, it's a trip, man. It's a fucking
Mm-hmm.
huge trip.
All right, man. So we've been talking for a minute now. This is going to be
Yeah.
a lengthy episode, and I hope our listeners slash watchers are really enjoying this. Let's just cut right to the end. I love doing this little Q&A rapid fire portion. Give me the first thing that's going to come to your head when I ask you one of these questions. Are you ready, Rob?
Yes. Was that the first question?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Cool. We're off to a great
Final
start.
answer.
All right, here we go. Do you prefer soft enamel pins or hard enamel pins?
In the beginning, I preferred hard enamel pins, but lately I really love soft enamel because they capture the detail of line work a lot better without having to add shadowing and highlights.
Delicious answer. I like that a lot. Are you into dyed enamel pins or glow-in-the-dark enamel pins?
Both. I prefer dyed metals because dyed metals is kind of like being able to paint the canvas any color. So dyed metals, I love, and that's another reason why I like soft enamel because it's the only metal that you can use a dyed metal with. I love glow in the dark. However, I think for me, it only works best when it's done on white. When you try to use glow in the dark for other colors, it doesn't always look well. For me, it just doesn't always go well.
Mm-hmm. Facts. Rubber backings or the metal butterfly backings?
Easy. Rubber backings. There's just way more. Let me show you. Oh, rubber backings all the way, bro. Come on. Look at that.
Yo. Wow.
That's why I like rubber backings because it's also more customizable. I am a hat guy, so I put pins on my hat, so I don't want no metal backing stabbing me in my head.
Yeah, I like that. Good answer. What's your favorite metal to make pins on?
Zinc, iron, they're both good.
Okay. What's the last pin mashup that you can remember seeing on like Instagram that you were like, whoa? I'll tell you one. I recently saw Kirby with a bong, and I thought that was really funny.
You're stupid. No, when you said that, I mean, I think of T-Crux. T-Crux is like my mashup mentor. And he did a master shake. So backtrack. I've been getting into Naruto like over the quarantine. I finally got a chance to like sit down and watch every single fucking episode, and I'm like, anyways. So he did, and for those of you that know me, I love Aqua Teen Hunger Force. So he did a mashup of Shake and Shake Jr. as Itachi and Sasuke from Naruto, and I thought that shit was hilarious, and I really hope he pins.
I like that. All right, we'll clip this out and send it to him.
Yeah.
Give him a shout out. What's your favorite pin hashtag?
Hashtag. Oh God. It's funny
coming in with the heat, you know.
Dude, it's just funny. Like how many times have you written out a hashtag?
Over the past 5 years, oh my God, yo.
Dude, I would love that stat of how many times I've come up with a fucking hashtag. Oh, dude, how many times have you hashtag fucking pin game or
all the time?
Oh, dude, so I have when I start hashtagging, I hashtag. If it isn't something about Otherworld, it's like lapel pins, enamel pins, pin collecting, pin collectors. The one that I always laugh at is pins for sale. I'm like, I don't know why it's so funny. It's funny to me because I'm just like, I guess I wouldn't subscribe to that hashtag.
No, it sounds like a bunch of like older folks going on to Instagram trying to find pins for sale.
like grandpa, like, yeah. No, so freaking, I always thought that one was for fun. That one was funny. I've never used that one, or maybe I have a couple times, but yeah, I would probably say those are probably just like funny ones that I've always thought. Pins for sale.
Okay,
like,
okay. Are you?
No, I'm not knocking anybody that uses it. This is just coming from somebody who has to think of hashtags like all the time. And I fucking hate hashtags. So I'm like, pins, everything, like every hashtag that has pins in it. I'm like, but yeah. Or creating acronyms for everything. Yeah. But yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah. I ended up just writing them all once and then putting it in a little note. And so I just copy and paste everything.
But then you have to, I just started doing that. But then I have to have one for every like with whether it's wrestling or Ninja Turtles or stuff like that. Yeah, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's part of the game. Speaking of game,
Exactly.
are
Get your
you
hashtags up.
are you pin game strong or pin game proper?
What are the difference? What's the difference?
I don't think there is a difference. It's just two different hashtags. I'm just seeing which one you prefer.
I'm pin game confused.
That is an acceptable answer. I like that. That is a first. I'll accept that. Are you a pin addict or a pin collector?
I'm a pin collector. I would say in the beginning I was a pin addict, but when you make as many pins as I've made and traded as many pins as I've traded, dude, like look at this. Oh my gosh, this is one of like I don't know how many boxes I have of pins I've traded. It got to a point where I started getting Ziploc bags and I started to separate them somehow by whether they were like Dragon Ball Z pins or like, cause dude, I have a big ass board at my house filled. I had two other boards that were filled, but the cork was starting to deteriorate on those. So I took all the pins off those and I just rocked with the big one. So bro, I got bags, like Rubbermaid containers just filled with pins, bro. Like if there is ever a revolution, I'm gonna be like the Patriot, like melting them down and making like bullets, musket bullets. Like
I love it. Where's your favorite place to rock a pin?
All right, here in the hat.
Nice.
Boom. Yeah, I've always been a hat guy. I love to wear them. Like, I think the most cleanest spot is like right towards the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the dopest.
Yeah, that's where I rock them, and right by the snapback part too.
Yeah, if you can get a good one that fits right there, that looks clutch. Oh yeah,
bro. I have a Nets hat, a Brooklyn Nets hat. Well, it's like a vintage, so it's a New Jersey Nets hat. But I found a '90s Nets pin somewhere on Etsy, or I think I got it from the Pintrill store in Brooklyn. It was just there, and fate just happened to be on my side. But I rock it right in the back. Oh, well, actually, I wear my hats snapbacks backwards, so I guess it would be the front. But it's right by the...
You wear it sideways?
Nah, man, I don't wear it sideways. I ain't cool like that. Not like Rob.
Oh, boy.
Not like OW Rob.
Not like oh
like
wait,
Rob. Let's see. Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Donnie.
I could see Donnie in you.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like growing up, I was a party dude. I love Michelangelo, but I would say I identify most with Donnie, or Raph. I have a hot head like Raph, but I think I'm a little bit of it. I think the beauty in the Ninja Turtles is that you could find a little bit of each one of them in like, the aspects of their attributes that they have. Like a little, I identify with a little bit of all of them. The leader, Leo, and the hothead Raph, the nerdy Donnie, and the party dude Mikey. I think that's why Ninja Turtles are so popular, is that you can identify with all four of them in some way.
Spoken like a true shellhead. I love it. All right, here's a new question that I just came up with specifically for you, because I think I've seen you post about some Kobe pins and stuff like that. So I think you have a pretty general good knowledge about basketball. I want you to put together a starting five with characters from the TMNT universe. Heroes or villains?
A starting five?
A starting five.
Easy. Well, I mean, it would be the Turtles and Casey.
Okay. You think the Turtles and Casey can take on like the Krang android and the Technodrome like in a basketball game? You think they can take on Metalhead and Slash and Super-Size Shredder from the second live action movie?
Well, you think they could work with all those guys? Like,
I didn't even think about chemistry.
Yeah, you gotta have chemistry, bro. Like, dude, you're talking about the four brothers who are like these ninjas gonna be doing slam dunks all over everybody, and then you got Casey, the fucking sports junkie over here. Like, what? This guy carries a hockey stick. Cricket.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I guess I didn't put that much thought into it. I'm just thinking like
Dude,
short
that
power.
shredder with the Michael Bay shredder gonna cut up the basketball. You're not gonna be able to touch it.
Yeah. Well, I guess if Michael Jordan and LeBron James can beat Monstars, then the Turtles are gonna.
Wait, is the Space Jam already out? The new one?
No, I think it comes out in July.
Gotcha. Oh, I was like, dude,
They're already toys.
I didn't see King Kong.
I was at Target. The toys, they look terrible. Absolutely terrible. But I'm still gonna buy them.
I see. I've seen the toys. They do look bad.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the Godzilla versus King Kong, but the toys were a spoiler for like everything that happens in it. And I'm like,
Yep. That's exactly what happened with the toys too. But
yeah.
Oh well. All right, Rob. 2 more questions for you. What accomplishment are you most proud of with Otherworld? Is it actually getting like a physical store set up? Any celebrities?
No.
Interact with any celebrities?
I mean, I know Will Sasso may or may not have bought my pins a week ago, but that's not my proudest moment, nor was when I was waiting in line and I said hi to Jim Carrey and he said hi back. But I lost my job of 14 years and Otherworld was there to save me. Like, dude, not only that, like you got to take into account, like I lost my job, just had a baby, pandemic's kicking off, like all this shit's happening. And literally the only thing that kept me afloat was Otherworld. Wow. And I would say, yeah, dude, and to bounce back from all that and open up a shop because of Otherworld, like, you got to take my hat off to it.
Oh, yeah. That for sure. Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. I mean, you put in the work, so it's no surprise you got to this point. But
thank you.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. Good for you, man. Good for you.
Thank you.
I love it. Last question, and I end the podcast every episode with this. What are the little things in life for you?
What are the little things in life for me? Germs. No, what are the little things in life for me? Being able to actually go through a day without stress and like hanging out with your family and just like, dude, today was a beautiful day. Today was like, sun was out, got good news, like I'm still alive, like, dude, what's not to like about stuff like that? Those are the little things to me. Like little things like that all day, like, are what keep me happy, keep me sane. Yeah.
I love it. I love that answer, and I can definitely subscribe to that answer too. Wake up, the sun is out. More importantly, we're alive. We're able to talk to other people. I always think life can be much worse. Always. Much worse. So it's good that you can kind of sit back and look at those things and just reflect and be happy. That's really important.
Yeah.
I love it.
Dude, because you never know when you're not going to have those things. And you just got to be thankful that they're here now. Even if, because, yeah.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Well, Rob, you made it to the end of Pin Pals. How do you feel?
I feel good, dude. I never thought this day would come. No, I really thank you, Eric, for giving me another shot at this. Dude, this was amazing. I'm glad we covered all the topics we did. I hope that anything that I said could kind of help whoever is listening. So yeah, I appreciate you for creating this platform for us to do this.
Of course. Oh, it was my pleasure, Rob. It's always, every time we get to talk, whether it's in the DMs or meeting up at shows, or like, it's always a good time. Like, you're a brother from another mother. And,
likewise, bro.
To be able to find the time just to talk like this and to just get into things that we aren't really able to get into when we're vending at shows because we're just so busy is really cool. So thank you for your time and sharing your expertise and your knowledge. I definitely think our listeners will learn a thing or two about the pin game.
If they don't, call Eric. He'll give you your money back. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I'm going to refund you your time. I'm the time master. I can do that.
Yeah. No, dude, if you don't learn something from this or take something from this, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, man, I took lots of mental notes while we were talking, so
I dropped a bunch of knowledge bombs.
yes, for sure. Well, I'm going to give you the floor. Feel free to give out any shout outs, tell the listeners what you have going on, what's happening. Take it away.
Cool. Well, first of all, thank you, Eric. I want to thank all my pin people, Whitney from Little Boat for giving me the shout out when she was on your show, dude.
Shout out episode 4.
Hey, definitely want to give a shout out to just all my pin people. Like, there's a lot of people that I started off with in the beginning, but life happens. We go separate ways. I give a shout out to them. I give a shout out to the people that supported me from day one, the people that just found me today. Yeah, dude, I love doing this stuff for you. So the more interaction and support that I get from the people just keeps me going. It keeps me hungry to do more of this. So if you want, you can find me on Instagram. The new Instagram is Otherworld 2.0. I also have an Etsy account. You can find me on Etsy as Otherworld Shop. You could come to LA. If you're in LA, you could come to the Otherworld store. It's open Monday through Friday and the occasional Saturday from 12. Well, it's open from 9 to 5, but I'm here usually from 12 to 5. So come check me out.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I think I said that too many times. I'm really noticing the things that I say in abundance. Like, so tell me about this. So tell me about that. So I apologize, but
no, it's all good.
Definitely check out Otherworld if you're in LA. Totally worth stopping by the shop. Rob is a good dude. If you're lucky, you'll be able to buy pins directly from him and, maybe get a high five. I think we're crossing the threshold where we can start high-fiving and hugging people. So that's really cool. Again, Rob, I just want to thank you for your time. This has been an enjoyable conversation. I know for sure that I will be hitting the rewind button and reliving this wonderful conversation time and time again. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
No problem, dude. Thank you, bud.
Have a good one, bro.
Bye.
Peace.
You too. Later.
And thus concludes episode 13 of Pin Pals, the first podcast about enamel pins. How was that for an entertaining conversation? If you like what Rob had to say, I highly recommend you visit the show notes to visit his shop link. That will be in your best interest. Go ahead and pick up some pins, drop a comment, maybe give him a follow. Definitely show some support for a fellow small business pioneer. I want to thank you, the listener, for tuning in and making it this far, whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, maybe you're double dipping and listening and watching to the podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please continue to spread the word as much as you can. Share the podcast with a friend or on Facebook, Reddit, Discord, TikTok, wherever. It all helps in the long run. Following, liking, subscribing, turning on notifications also helps tremendously. There are so many ways to support the podcast, and I see you guys doing it, and thank you, thank you, thank you. Can't say it enough. If you really want to show up with your support, then check out our Buy Me a Coffee page where you can buy me a coffee, aka leave a tip or donation for the podcast. Just think of it as like a little tip jar. I also have monthly subscriptions you can check out if that's your thing. You can get early access to guest info, member-only Instagram posts, shout-outs, and so much more. Link to that will be in the show notes. If you have any questions about today's episode, please feel free to shoot me an email, thepinpalspodcast@gmail.com, or go ahead and shoot me a DM. We're on Instagram @pinpalspodcast. Lastly, we have a new Apple Podcast review from the homie Morrison the Great. Hang with me on this review. All right, here we go. Due to the pandemic taking away my hour-long commute, I no longer have time in my day to listen to podcasts. However, I always, capitalize always, always find time to listen to Pin Pals. This show is filled with great anecdotes, entertaining guests, a knowledgeable and charismatic host, and a plethora of information for pin makers, both new and old. I highly recommend making time to listen to Pin Pals each week. Woo! Morrison the Great, I believe your name is Chris. I think I see you. I think that's it. Wow, what a review. Thank you so much. And with that one, we are one away from 25-star rating reviews. How about that? That in itself is a pretty impressive milestone in my eyes. I wonder who's going to be the lucky dude or dudette to help a brother out. That's all I have for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back with episode 14 next week. I've been your host, Eric from Warrior Pins. Remember, folks, it's the little things in life. Have a good one. Peace.